Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Healthy AF. My name's Amy Chang and I'm a health coach with Healthy Life, Health and Wellness Coaching. And I'm so delighted that you're here with me today. It is the holiday season and we are continuing our holiday prep. So we're in December now and Christmas is on the horizon. We've already made it through Thanksgiving and we talked a little bit last time about how to really plan your holidays so that they work for you. Today, I wanted to do another kind of 3-step process. And I'll tell you now, if you've read any Brené Brown, you're going to love this. And if you haven't read any Brené Brown, I'm going to be referencing her a little bit. And I would highly recommend that you Google, grab a book. She's got so many resources on her webpage, and I will post that in the show notes. Okay, so recently I was in my women's coaching group. We meet every couple of weeks. We've done this for almost a year, and we're coming up on Thanksgiving. We were coming up on Thanksgiving, and I said, okay, let's just dig in and see what we're dealing with as far as how much holiday prep we need to do for Thanksgiving. Step 1, list out your expectations. You have them. Some of them are easy. Like, I drove up to Hickory this morning to grab Mama. I expect that I'm going to get to her house, I'm going to pack her up, and I'm going to take her back down to Wilmington today. That may or may not happen, but that's my expectation. Some are just logistics, and anything could get in the way of that. I might get to her house and she might not be ready to go. She might not be feeling well. We might need to refill a few medications before she comes to my house for a week and a few days. So sometimes it's just good to note what those logistic expectations are. We are going to have dinner at 4 p.m. on Thanksgiving. We are prepping sides from, 3 to 5 on the Wednesday before. Everybody come. This person, and this person is coming. Those are just kind of logistical expectations. And that sounds really super easy. But it's always not easy. Have you ever had that? Like, yeah, we're going to eat at 1:30 and then the turkey took too long on the smoker. And then nobody's eating until 3. Have you ever had your whole family at your house from 1:30 to 3? They think they're going to eat at 1:30. They show up hungry. And then we've got a lot of hungry, angry, lonely, tired people at the Thanksgiving meal. Yeah, it can really be a frustrating, heated moment. And that's all based on I expected to eat at 1:30. So these are the lowest hanging fruits of our expectations, are just logistically what's going to happen. I know that as a mom, I've got 3 kids, and one of my kids just, when they were small, just did not do well with change. We're going to go at 3 p.m. Then things shift and we go at 4 p.m. That one kid was like, but we said we were going at 3. Just did not like it. There was an expectation. It didn't happen, and there was some upset. Expectations often lead us to upset, especially if we don't recognize what they are. So, low-hanging fruit, what are your logistical expectations for your holiday plans? Other expectations that aren't as hardcore as logistics, but expected behaviors, words, conversations. You know that one grandparent is going to come in and ask you about your schoolwork. You know that you're going to get a call from your sister that asks you about how the kids are doing. You know that there's going to be, after the mealtime, the grown-ups sitting at the adult table having a chuckle and the kids running around crazy. You might not know, that they actually are playing football in the front yard or they're playing Uno in the den. You might not know which cousin's going to get upset and then quit and go to the adult table. You don't know when the adults are going to be bothered enough that they actually have to stop laughing and reminiscing and go take care of the kids. But you can expect that those are some activities that are going to happen. Adult table, laughing, connection, kids running around. When those things get disruptive or happen in different ways, sometimes our expectations can really throw us off. So just be aware. Write all those down. What do you really expect to happen at Thanksgiving? And then here's some trickier ones. Your hidden expectations. I've had plenty of holidays that I've planned to a T. And I've expected the turkey to go in at 12:30 and come out at 4:30 and everybody to sit down and say grace at 6. And I expected all these things to happen that were logistics that I knew I expected. What I did not know I was expecting is the argument. I didn't know that I was expecting someone to be passive aggressive. I didn't know that I was expecting someone to roll their eyes. And the result of that hidden expectation that something's going to go wrong, something's going to be said, there's going to be some mad. The result of me having that hidden expectation, not exposing it, was that I spent the holiday braced. Just braced. Just a little bit on eggshells. Just a little bit stepping and fetching. That's a hidden expectation. We can easily flip that around. A hidden expectation that everybody's going to have a great time and everybody's going to be happy and everybody's going to like the food and everybody's going to play cards and it's going to be congenial and it's going to be happy-go-lucky and it's going to be the best thing ever. When I have that hidden expectation that if logistically everything happens on the schedule that I put on and because I've shown up and done all this work, that everybody else is going to be happy, enjoy it, getting along. You can imagine the disappointment when I don't sense that that's happening. And so the impact of me having that hidden expectation and not knowing it is that if it doesn't look exactly the way I thought it would look, maybe somebody has to have diarrhea. I don't know. Maybe they're in the toilet for a long time. Maybe another person can't play cards because they're taking a nap. The unexpected things happen. And it doesn't feel the way I wanted it to feel, that I kind of expected it to feel. You can see how I'd be checking off the boxes. Like, wait, is she happy? Is she laughing? Is he joined into the conversation? Is that one engaged? And it keeps me kind of hyper vigilant and looking for those things to happen, like they're a little checkbox. Instead of just allowing the holiday to flow and letting people have the holiday that they would like to have. If I don't know that I'm expecting that, that's where we get into trouble. And usually it's because we lean right into looking for evidence that it is happening or that it's not happening the way we want to. So if you think about the bracing and the eggshelling and the somebody's going to get mad and this is going to be a complete crazy town, then you'll look for the eye rolls. You'll look for that burrowed brow or brow rather. You'll look for the frown. And if you look for it, you'll see it. So these expectations, from the very easiest to find to the very deepest, kind of like hiding ones, those are really important to pull out and look at oh, I'm expecting this to happen. And I'd invite you to then detach from those expectations. If you do yoga at all, you've heard of beginner's mind. I have a friend who talks about being a guest in his own home for holidays. Anything you can do to detach from those expectations and walk into the flow of like, wow, I have no idea what's going to happen. I have some things that might happen. I have some things that usually happen, but I have no idea what's going to happen. You'll hit a lot fewer roadblocks and disappointments, and you might actually be able to pick up a little bit more connection and joy. So step 1, expectations, get clear, write them down, detach from them. Step 2, and here's where Brené Brown comes in. I love her idea of, she calls it container building. What needs to be put in place so I can show up the way I want to show up? And for me, I use that by looking at my very best self. So what needs to be in place for me to show up as my very best self? Now, if you don't know what your very best self is, if you're not really clear on that, what your values are and who you really ascribe to being, look back at that personal mission statement. If you don't have your personal mission statement done, do your personal mission statement. This is the time where we get very granular about, I said that this is who I am when I am at my best. How do I bring that with me? And what do I need to have in my space? What support do I need from the people around me? And what support do I need from myself to show up as that best self? So we talked in the other podcast about really looking at what works for you and what doesn't work for you when you're planning your holiday. This is where we get to the spot where we say, okay, if I've got those 5 people coming to my house and they're going to come for 3 days, it works for me to be a host to them and what I need to show up as best host ever, joyful and connected and present, is at least 15 minutes every morning to be outside with my headphones on walking. What I need is knowing that you, my spouse, are going to make sure that when we clean up from dinner, everything's put away before we go to bed. And have those sources of support very well defined. And they might not work, okay? But you got to try something. So when I do these with my business, whenever I work with another person in my business, this is the first thing we do. Okay, what do I need to have in place to make sure I can show up as my best self? When I was drinking still, it was like, I probably should not have 2 margaritas before we have a work day the night before, because I couldn't show up well. I probably need to have some exercise so that I can show up as my best self. I needed to be dressed. I had a work day recently and my assistant picked me up and she said, wow, you look really cute. And I said, yes, because this is what I need to put in place for me to show up as a leader for you and for my company today. Otherwise, we would be hitting the pajamas and the coffee shop. So what are those things? And they can be things that you use to support yourself, like just getting dressed or having a little time. And they can be other things that you partner with other people. And really, if you're in a family unit and you're planning your holiday as your family unit, it's a really great question. It's a really connecting question to ask your family members, what do you need to be able to show up as your very best self for this holiday? Second tool from Brené Brown that's just a humdinger, and I absolutely love it. Permission slips. What might you give yourself permission to do, feel, say that will help your holiday feel more authentic and be a lot easier. I know that for me, when I wrote my permission slips for my holiday, this is a different holiday for us with Mom's retirement and then move down to Wilmington. And there's a lot of joy and eager anticipation for her coming closer to me and the kids. And there's also a little bit of grief. So for me, my permission slips look like I give myself permission to have all the feelings. And then one that says, I give myself permission to go take a break if I need to have some alone time. I give myself permission not to play the card game that goes until 2 a.m. and instead at 9 say, I love y'all, and I give myself permission to peace out and sleep because this girl cannot show up the way she wants to unless she has had her sleep. Permission to be in your pajamas a little bit longer than you usually are. Permission to ask for help and someone else can make the morning coffee. So what do you need to give yourself permission for as you're going into the holiday? I hope that's been helpful. Again, I'll put Brené Brown's link in the show notes. Highly recommend you look at container building and permission slips. So between the three tools we talked about, getting clear on what your expectations are, especially those sneaky little hidden ones that lead to resentment, using your what do I need to do to be able to show up as my best self tool that you'll find on Brené Brown's website, and also the permission slips that you'll find on Brené Brown's website. We are going to have y'all so flippin' prepared for Christmas. And me too, because I'm in it with you. Why do you think we're doing these podcasts? It's going to be a great time. And if we just lean into that self-reflection, we'll come out at least sturdy so that no matter what happens, we're grounded and we know who we are and we can live up to that. I will see you next time on Healthy AF. Get ready.